Hey everybody, Rex Bear Leak Project. I just got back from a bike ride, and on the way out, I was looking at the skies and how beautiful they were, nice and blue, deep, rich. It's been that way for the past few days. And I saw this one area, just this one strip, that looked like the remnants of an artificial cloud, aka Stratosphere Aerosol injection, chemtrail. And I was like, oh, shucks, they're doing it again. And it's funny because I was reading through some of the forums about how the skies have been so blue, and even on the YouTube channel here, youtube.com/clandestine Time Lord, and some people were saying, oh, see, Trump isn't funding the chemtrails anymore. Thank goodness. And remember, David Wilcock supposedly said that January 1st, starting January 1st this year, they're going to do away with chemtrails, and I just thought to myself, no way. And I've seen tons of spraying going on, except for the past few days. And it's like they just quit, and the skies look beautiful again. And even myself, for just a moment, I thought, could it be possible? Could we really be getting back to the way that it used to be before we were getting constantly sprayed with Raid, essentially, in the atmosphere? It seems to me what it is somewhat of a pesticide spray. I wonder if they put fluoride in there, too. I am deviating from the topic here. Let me show you some video footage that I've got of the bike ride today. And it wasn't even an hour. I wasn't even on my bike for an hour today. Just rolling around the house.
May 2nd, 2017, as you can see. Sad news.
So, look at that. You can see they're spraying. They're definitely spraying. And so first thing I notice is just this one trail, okay? And then I'm like, yeah, what do you bet here? Any minute they're just going to start spraying more and more. I got a close-up of them there for a minute. And remember the old what the debunkers or the attempted debunkers would say, oh, they're just commercial jets. They're just commercial airlines. That's all that it is. It's just a contrail from the atmosphere, son. You're a conspiracy theorist. Well, then where did all the commercial flights go one day, and then the next day they're all doing specific patterns, checkerboard patterns, X patterns, pentagram patterns that I've shown you guys before? Today, by the time I got home, less than an hour on my ride, it was a 5-prong attack. There were 5 lines, essentially, of these stratosphere aerosol injections. So here's the second one. I'm getting eaten up with mosquitoes here in my garage. I hope these aren't those nano mosquitoes that take your DNA and then inject you with something. All right. Here we go. I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so now you can see they've got the second one. This was just a few minutes later. They're spraying some more. And literally by the time I got home, there were 5 of these things. And I'm sure there's going to be more. So what I'm thinking in my mind is when the CIA director came out and said, it's a relatively inexpensive program. It's only about $10 billion. How much of this stuff do you have to spray in the atmosphere to literally cool it down? And how long is it going to cool the atmosphere down? Or is it going to destroy the atmosphere before it cools down the planet? And what are the supercomputers telling you guys? I mean, have you thought about that? Have you actually considered? Is there a ghost in the machine that's telling these guys it's going to be okay? And they're like,
yes, it will be fine. We can put aluminum and barium into the ozone and spray it with nuclear radiation, and everybody will live happily ever after.
I mean, I don't know what's wrong with these guys, but probably not a good idea. And then, I had a great interview with a gentleman earlier today about the possibility of extraterrestrials kind of running things at the top levels. And I've wondered that before. I mean, why else would all this stuff be allowed to go on? If you really think about it. Is it really that important to cool the planet by a couple of degrees that you want to spend billions of dollars a year blasting the atmosphere with metals that then get, eventually go down here, get lodged into people? Isn't aluminum associated with Alzheimer's and neurological disorders? Last I checked. So with that said, I think that now is more important than ever to be aware of this kind of stuff. That's another thing too that I noticed. I mean, I was riding my bike and I'm looking at these people walking around, walking their dog, getting their mail, talking on the phone. None of them were looking up. None of them. It was like they were all just so docile and literally 2 IQ points away from a zombie, from Walking Dead status.
Yeah, my phone is ringing. I don't care if I'm being sprayed with aerosol. I have my 600-pound life to watch tonight. You can't mess with me.
Wake up, people. No, they didn't stop spraying chemtrails. They're still going on. And just go look outside, look up. And you know what? That's another thing. Like, your neighbors, do they even know what's going on? Try unplugging them. See what happens. Just mess with them a little bit. One of these days when they're out getting the mail and stuff like that, and they're just spraying the atmosphere, be like, whoa, what's that? And then they'll look up, while they'll be like, I don't know, some airplanes or something? I don't know what it is. Just airplanes. What's wrong with you, son? You'd be like, well, you see that stuff that's coming out of the back end?
Yeah, that's normal, right? I'll see it. I think I'll see it. I mean, people tell me about it. What is it?
It's a chemtrail.
Oh, you're one of those conspiracy theorists. You think it's one of them chemtrails, don't you, son?
I just want to see what kind of reaction people get with their neighbors that don't believe in any of this kind of stuff. And then tell them about how there's actually multiple companies that are even traded on the stock market now that manipulate the weather. Then you can tell them about how the CIA director did come out and talk about stratosphere aerosol injections, and it's not a conspiracy, or the Weather Channel actually has done programs on it. But they don't understand because the cognitive dissonance is so powerful, and they love the opportunity to get a flu vaccine every single year, and genetically modified E. coli feces is good for them. So see what they say. Just ruffle some feathers a little bit. Do something a little bit different with your neighbor, your friend, or your family member. It seems like family's often the toughest to get a hold of. I have so many friends that are married and their spouse just doesn't get it, or their parents don't get it, or they've got kids that are grown up and have kids and they don't get it. It's interesting how that works. Hopefully we can all come together and these people will be able to see the truth and get out of this cognitive dissonance. But I deviate. YouTube.com/clandestine Time Lord, leakproject.com. Be the change you want to see.